What's going on, guys? This is Thomas with another video. Welcome to my channel. I'm still looking for a name for this particular channel, but we're going to go with just a channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking specifically to people who are considering getting into financial services. Should I start out as a captive agent, or should I start off as an independent agent? So if you're brand new, you're thinking about getting into the business and you're trying to decide which one to go to, I'm gonna go over a couple things with it. This is not going to be a all-encompassing video. There are thousands and hundreds of other videos on YouTube talking about this, but I'm gonna get to the meat of the matter, the parts that matter the most to me, looking back now as an experienced agent and looking back and when I was brand new trying to figure out which way to go. So real quick, I'm just gonna go over the pros and cons of both of them. And I got my little trusty notes. So the pros of going captive. Number one, you're going to be going to a set system. Typically, if you go to a captive agency, they've been around for a couple of years, maybe 100 years. They have a system down that is proven, it works for that particular company, and you're going to be put right in the middle of it and taught how to work that system. Number two, there's going to be a set routine. Typically, when you go to a captive agency, there is an established office, usually locally or regionally, and they have a routine that they're going to go through. They're going to take you through their training program, and it could be anywhere from 1 month to almost a year, depending on what company you go to. They're going to have a routine they're going to have you go through, and you're going to be along with other people and other experienced agents, which goes to the next pro. It's going to be hands-on. When you go to a captive agency, sometimes they're going to interview you. They're going to interview you while you interview them. And when they bring you on, you're going to work up under everybody calls it something different, a general manager, regional, whatever the name is. You're going to be working under somebody who's experienced. They're going to walk you through the steps, how to do this, how to fill out that, how to use this process, how to use this program. Everything is going to be hands-on. It's going to be paint by the numbers. Now, here are the cons to being captive. You can only sell their products that they sell. All right. Now, there's some companies who will allow you to sell other products after so much time in the business with that particular company. But typically, when you're a captive agent, whatever products that particular company sells, that's what you're going to sell. And it's not always a bad thing, because since you sell only those products, you're going to know them like the back of your hand. But you're going to be limited to the type of products that you can offer being a captive agent. Secondly, you can be taught one way to sell, which is not a bad thing, but each captive company, be it life, health, P&C, advanced market, like assets under management, they all have a specific way they like to sell. They have their system, and you're going to be taught that system, and it's going to work. But that's going to be the only way you're taught. And also, it depends on which person you get up under, because even within a captive agency, depending on where you go to, you may go to an office who focuses on business owners. You may go to an office that focuses on maybe people who work in the factory, maybe people who work in a certain sector, so that it can really get niched down. So that's a whole other video. And finally, for the con, reduced compensation. Now, in the insurance world, particularly for life insurance, compensation is like a cottage industry of arguments and debates. And it can go either way. To me, 100,000 is 100,000. If you make $100,000 as a bricklayer, you make $100,000 as an insurance agent, it's still $100,000. Now, how you got the 100,000 is definitely different, but the money still spends the same, if you catch my drift. So, reduced compensation. If you start a captive company, you're going to have a reduced compensation. But in return for that reduced compensation, you're going to be working up under experienced agents who have been down the path already. They're going to walk you through the steps. They're going to take you on different cases and show you how to complete a particular case or a particular type of scenario, how to make it work. And also, in return for less compensation, some captive agencies will make it up in the form of maybe deferred compensation, maybe some type of other package that is in addition to your commission. So sometimes a reduced compensation makes sense if you're trying to get some other things on top of the commission. Those are the pros and cons of being a captive agent. Now I'm going to go over the pros and cons of being an independent agent. Back to the sheet. First, one of the pros of being an independent agent is you have freedom of choice. You can contract with multiple life insurance, health insurance carriers at one time. That could be a bad thing too, but you have freedom of choice to pick the companies you want to contract with. Also, you have freedom of choice of what you want to sell. You want to focus on health products, like disability, critical illness. Maybe you want to focus on annuities. Maybe you want to focus on just final expense or mortgage protection. You can focus on what area you want to focus on because you're independent. You choose how you want to work it. The second one is, which the same thing, is going in multiple directions. You can just pick the companies you want to work with. That's a good thing and the bad thing. I'm going to do another video about that as far as picking too many choices at one time. Lastly is high compensation. Typically when you go independent, you will have a higher starting compensation. That's still relative because you're brand new, you don't know what's high, what's low. And I'm not going to try and go into that in this video, but you're going to definitely get a higher compensation than you would going captive. The trade-off from that is the insurance company is going to pay you that compensation, and they're going to say, hey, here's your contract, go get them Tiger. They're going to do some help, but it's not going to be the type of hand-holding that you may expect. That's going to be dependent on the organization that you sign up with, which is another video. IMO, FMO, NMO, agency, whole other ball of wax. But the compensation would definitely be higher with an independent as an independent broker versus a captive agent. So those are the pros and cons. So whenever someone inbox me and ask me, well, Thomas, what should I do? I ask questions because it's about you. This is your profession, this is your life, this is going to be your time spent. So here's some questions I ask of people. First question, ask yourself, am I a self-starter? Can I watch a video, a PDF, a Zoom call? Can I watch that and get what I need to get started? If you're a self-starter, you don't really need a lot of hand holding. You just need to get the basics, and then you go start to do something, and then you'll come back and say, hey, I did this, it didn't work. What should I do next? If you're a self-starter and you have some self-initiative, the independent broker model will work for you. Let's say you're the type of person you need a lot of hand-holding. That's not a bad word. Hand-holding is not a bad thing. Maybe you're the type of person who needs someone to one-to-one show you how to do something, one-to-one walk you through the steps, one-to-one speak to them on the phone or in person for 30 minutes and say, hey, I'm having this issue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need this type of hand-holding early on in the process. You may want to go to a captive model. Just being honest with you, because if you're going to go independent, and I'm going to get to this other question next, other part. If you want to go independent, there's a good possibility that you may be the only agent in your area within this group. So you may only get a chance to interact with your other teammates through Zoom calls, webinars, conference calls, Slack. People using Slack and what's the other one? Twitch. I don't know. I'm getting them mixed up. Yeah, people using other means of communication to stay connected. But if you're the type of person you need that connection, you need that face to face. I need to see somebody. You may want to go to captive model. Nothing wrong with that, but these are just questions you need to ask yourself early on. Do I need hand holding? Second, number 2, do I work well alone? Because if you're gonna go the independent route and there are no other agents in the area, you're gonna be working by yourself. Like I work by myself. I'm in my office right now. This is the office. This is the office I record my content in. The next office next door is where I do a lot of my business. But I am okay working solo. I'm okay working alone. But if you need to have an environment where there are other agents with you, you guys are together, and you need them to be face to face with you, you may want to go to captive model. Now, I'm in some groups where we're agents, we're using technology to keep us together, and that works for me. That's fine for me. But if you're the type of person where I need to be able to ask this question, I need an answer today, or I can't do step 3, 4, and 5 until I talk to this person, you may want to go the captive route. There's nothing wrong with that. But as an independent agent, and you're working in a independent agent broker type of system, unless that indie agent has a local presence, a local office with the other agents coming in, you can be working solo, which is why I made this channel. Um, yeah, compensation. So depending on how far along you are in your search for being an insurance agent, you may have asked questions about compensation. Just real quick primer, you get paid, when you sell a policy, you either get paid as earned, which means that every time Mr. Joe pays $50 a month for his insurance policy, months 1 through 9, the insurance company will pay you $50. That's as earned. The second way you get paid is in advance. So the person will pay, what's the number I typically use? Man, I want to think about using math just quickly, but you sell a policy. The insurance company will give you a 9-month advance. So what that means is we're going to pay you for the first 9 months of what your client is supposed to pay. And of that 9 months, if they give you the full 9-month advance, that's called the 100% commission, because you're going to get 100% of that 9-month advance. And that's kind of the baseline. Now with some companies, and depending on the contract, you can get 110, 120, 130, 140% of that 9-month advance. And in other cases, you may get lower. You may get 90, 80, 70, 60, 50% of the 9-month advance. You may have to replay that part to hear it again, but it's based off a 9-month advance. Some companies do a 3-month advance, do a 6-month advance, but 9-month advance is kind of the industry standard. So with the independent route, chances are you should get no less than 100% commission. Just going to throw it out there. If you go independent, depending on what type of product it is. But for a basic life product, 100% commission is 100% 9-month advance is kind of what I would suggest you look for. That's just Thomas saying that. But if you go the captive route, you're going to get a lower 9-month advance. Well, it may be a 6-month advance. But again, the offset to that is in return for that lower advance, you're getting hands-on experience. You having experienced agents and managers and financial advisors, whatever direction you go in, they are walking you through the steps. So if you're independent, you're doing the application, you don't know what this means, you kind of have to figure it out. You have to call some other friends, you have to call the home office. But when you're working in a captive environment, you can just go next door, or you can just say, hey, Bob, I need some help with this application. What does this mean? They're going to give the answer immediately. Or maybe you got a big case and you don't know how to make it work. Well, you can work with an experienced agent in the office and they're going to walk you through the steps. Now, in cases like that, it's a split case. You got to figure out what the split going to be. But basically, for a piece of the action, this experienced agent is going to walk you through it. So the compensation part is about you. It's a personal decision, and in some cases, depending on the direction you go, I mean, even if you're getting 50%, if you're selling a huge premium, 50% of, $50,000 a year premium, that's money, so it's the numbers are all relative to the amount of the premium. So I'm trying not to get all into the weeds, but bottom line, you're going to start at a higher commission as an independent agent than you would as a captive agent. So those are just 3 questions you should ask yourself. Can I work independently? How much hand-holding do I need? Do I need to have that person? I need to have that office environment. Do I work well doing mainly Zoom calls and group meets and Slack rooms? What's the other one? It's Slack, and it's the other one. Man, it's the one the gamers use a lot. And I got on my laptop. But those are questions you have to ask yourself when you're thinking about going independent or going indie, okay? And there's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong. For some people, they thrive in a captive agency. For other people, they thrive in an independent agency. It's all about the individual. It's all about what's going to work for you, because chances are you're going to start out in this business and you're going to go one or the other. And you're going to quickly realize, I don't like this, I'm going to go to this, or I don't like this, I'm going to go to that. Or I've had agent friends who started out captive, left, went independent, didn't really like the independent world, went back to the captive world. It just depends on what you want to do. All right, so I hope this video was educational for you. Like I said, I try to give you meat and potatoes. I give you a little salad. I give you a little butter on the roll, but I'm gonna give you some meat and potatoes. So hopefully this helps you. It puts some thought, helps you put some more thought into what direction you want to go into. Again, there's no right or wrong. There are guys and gals making millions of dollars as captive agents with name brand companies that you may have heard of and some you never heard of before. And there are guys and gals making millions of dollars with an independent model where they just work in the office and they sell the product that works best for that person, no matter what the company is. So with that, this is Thomas with the still unnamed YouTube channel. Like, comment, share. Also subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification button so anytime I make a video, make a community wall post, you get it. When you hit the notification button, it's going to show a bell. Hit it and hit it for one that has the bell with the little side little things around it so you can get all notifications. So with that, you guys be safe, and I'm going to catch you guys on the next video.